Hi, this is Munson from Munson Music, and we're going to talk about a really easy way to play through a song called Breakfast at Tiffany's by Deep Blue Something. And it starts on a D major chord, so we're going to take the first finger and put them on the G string on the second fret. Second finger is going to go to the high E on the second fret, and the third finger is going to go to the B string on the third fret. And if you strum just the top four strings, just the D, G, B, and E, that'll get you your clearest sound out of that chord, and that's called D major. It sounds really, really happy. And then for our verse and our intro, for the D major, we're going to be going to a G major chord. And the way you play G major, first finger goes to the A on the second fret, second finger is going to the low E on the third fret, and the third finger goes to the high E on the third fret. And if you strum all those together, then that sounds really, really happy, and that's called G major. And then from G major, we're going to be going to an A major chord. And A major is a party on the second fret, because you play D on the second fret, G on the second fret, and then B on the second fret. So we're going to have like a lot of second frets for the A major. And that's basically our verse progression through the song, is doing D major, G major, A major, D major, G major, A major, D major, G major, A major, D major, G major, A major. And then the cool thing about this song is when you get to the chorus part, you're actually reversing that. So you'd start on the D, but then you go to the A major, and then the G major. So for our chorus we got D, A, G, D, A, G, D, A, G, D. So that's kind of your chord progression through the entire song. Now a lot of times with a song like this, to make it more interesting, I like adding a strum pattern to it. And my favorite 4/4 strum pattern is down, down, up, down, up, which you can kind of get the word of this song, but it doesn't sound exactly like the recording, but you could definitely cover it this way. Where you take the D major, and we're going to do the whole strum pattern, that down, down, up, down. But actually, you might want to just try that a lot if you're just starting out. Just that down, down, up, down, D, 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 down, down, up, down. So you want to get used to that. The weird part about that strum pattern between the G and the A for the verse, or the A and the G for the chorus, is we're half in that strum pattern. So you take the G and do the down, down, but then you try and hit the A on the upstroke. Up, down, up. So just to try that a couple times, you got G down, down, A on the up, down, G on the down, down, A on the up, down, G on the down, down, A on the up, down, G on the down, down, A on the up, down, up. But you could really just use that one pattern through the tune to cover it. So that's the easiest way, I think, to kind of play that song. So if we try that, we'd have our verse with D, down, down, up, G, down, A on the up, down, G, down, up, down, G, down, up, down, G, down, down, G, down, A on the up, down, G, down, up, G, down, A on the down. And then when you get to your chorus part, then you have the D, down, up, down, A on the down. Then if you wanted to sound a little bit more like the recording, it really sounds like they're doing something more like a 16th note strum pattern. And basically what we're doing right now is we're doing something called an 8th note, where if you were tapping your foot, we're dividing the beat into two parts. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And that's called an 8th note. What a 16th note is if you're dividing that foot tat into four parts. So if you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the strum pattern that I really like using for this is a down, up, down, down, up. Which is a little weird, but if we were counting 4, and we could just try this on the D just to try it, you do a down on 1, and then an up on 4 for the first beat, which is kind of weird. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Right? And then for the second beat, you'd be doing an up on the 2 and a down on 3, which is kind of weird. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, up, down, 1, up, down, 1, up, down, 1, I'm doing an up on 2 and an up on 4, which is kind of weird. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, up, and then on the 4th beat, I'm just doing 1, 2, 3, 4 as a down, up, down, up. So like down, up, down, up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we put that all together, then you have down, up, 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 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's kind of a weird strum pattern. And then for the G and the A, to half that strum pattern, right after the first down, up, up is where you want to half the strum pattern. So if we took the G, for instance, and did the down, up, and then did the A for the down, up, down, up, down, up, that's where you want to half those chords. So you might want to try that a lot too, just that G down, up, A on the down, up, down, G on the down, up, A on the down, up, down, G on the down, up, A on the down, down. And then if we tried that all the way through our verse that way, then we have D with down, up, down, G down, A down, down, D down, down, G down, A, down, D down, down, G down, A on the down, down, D down, down, G down, A down. But then when you get to your chorus, it would kind of reverse that pattern for the A to the G. So now you'd be doing the A with the down, up, and the G on the down, up, down, up. So we tried it through that way. You'd have your D with down, up, down, down, A down, G down, down, D down, down, A down, G down, down, D down, down, A down, G down, down, D down, down, A down, G down. So that's a little bit more sophisticated kind of way to play the song. And then there are a couple of guitar solos that come in that are really kind of cool. And they're not too hard. You start, the first one kind of starts after the verse chorus, but you play the open G 3 times. So we go, oh, oh, oh. And then we go to 4th fret on the D, and then we go 2nd fret of the D and kind of do a hammer on back to 4th fret, and then open D is kind of the first part of that. So you got open G, 4 on the D, 2, 4 hammer on the D, open D, and then there's kind of a tag that happens to that where you go 2nd fret on the A, and then open D, and then 4th fret on the A. So you got 0, 4, 2, 4, 0, 2, 0, 4, 0, 4, 2, 4, 0, 2, 4, 2, 0, 4. So that's the first part, and then actually later on that comes back, and then as an extension of that, they take all those notes that you're playing, that G, 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 F sharp, E, F sharp, D, B, D, C sharp, and then all those notes get transposed by what we call an octave, where instead of playing it low, you're playing it high. So now you're starting on the G note that's 3rd fret on the high E, and you play that 3 times, and then you go 2nd fret on the high E for F sharp note, and then kind of play open E, but do a hammer on back to 2nd fret on the high E, and then you play 3rd fret on the B. So you got 3, 3, 3, 2, 0, 2 hammer on, 3 on the B, but then you go 4th fret or open B, and then we're going to play 3rd fret on the B for a D note, and then 2nd fret on the B for a C sharp note. So it's the same notes, but they get transposed by octaves. So you got, which is kind of a cool lead to kind of add in, beginning to make it sound a lot like the recording that works off 2 other D chords. If you take a D major chord, and if you lift it off the 2nd finger, then that's what's called D sus2. You're still just trying to play just the skinny 4 strings, so just the D, G, B, and E. And then another chord, so that's called D sus2, or suspended 2nd. And then if you're on the D chord, for instance, and you take the pinky and add it on the high E on the 3rd fret, that's called D sus, or D suspended. So So it's a little weird if you take a G chord instead of F sharp, you're playing a G there, it's sus. If you're playing an E note instead of an F sharp, it's called an E. But those are called D. So basically, there's a lick around the D sus 2, and the D sus at the very beginning in the D part. So if you start with the D major and go down, up, just like we were doing, but then if you open up the second finger for the D sus 2 and do it down, and then go back to the D on the up, and then do another up. So we got D, up, D sus 2 on the down, D on the up, and then what we're going to do is go to D sus and do a down on D sus and then an up on the D and another up. So we got D down, up, D sus 2 down, D on the up, and then D sus on the down, D on the up. That can sound a little bit more like the recording if you substitute that in for the D. So down, up, D sus 2 on the down, D on the up, D on the sus on the down, D on the up. So that's a little weird. And then between on the G, you still keep the G the same, the down, up. But then when you go to the A, sometimes in the intro, like they're adding in what's called a D or an A sus, where you take the pinky from the A chord, or at least I think this is the easiest way to do it, and go to the B string on the 4th fret while you're holding down the A. And the reason I'm doing it with the pinky is so that I can get back to the A chord on that. So on the A, yeah, you got down, up, and then doing the A sus, down, and then back to A on the up. So we got G down, up, A on the down, up, A sus, down, A on the up. So G down, up, A on the down, up, A sus on the down, A on the up, and then you go back to the D for that intro lick. So that's another way to kind of kick it off to make it sound more like the tune is that. Anyway, that's the basics of how you could play Breakfast at Tiffany's by Deep Blue Something. So, good luck!